All right, here we go. Ugly God, welcome back.
What's good, nigga?
Hey, man, it's been a couple of years since last time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you've leveled up since then. Congrats.
No, congrats to you too, bro. You'd had some funny ass, legendary ass interviews since then.
Thank you. What were some of your favorites?
Probably with Daylight and yeah, probably Daylight ass, bro.
Yeah, Daylight's crazy. I remember he came in with a white face that one time.
Man.
For the first time on VladTV, we have Daylight's white half-brother,
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah. How you doing, Vlad? Nice to meet you. Oh.
Thank you for coming. We've had your brother Daylight on here quite a number of times.
Oh,
but
that character, huh? It's amazing.
like, I would never know what's gonna happen. We just book him and he'll show up different every single time.
That's legendary though. That's original. You can't knock it.
Yeah, man. Daylight has some crazy ass interviews along the
sure.
way. But our interview was pretty big as well. I looked, few million views on it. Like, I think maybe 3 or 4 million combined.
Yeah, collectively I've seen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of your biggest interviews.
You gonna take that credit? Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna take that credit.
All right, for sure.
I'm gonna take that credit. I like to take that credit a lot.
Of course, hell, you deserve it.
I like to feel that when you sit with Vlad TV, it's gonna be your biggest interview ever.
For sure.
That's what I aim to do. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I think Water was already out last time we talked, right?
Yes.
But since then, you've dropped some bangers. With my favorite being Hello with Lil Pump.
This nigga. Appreciate it.
That's my favorite song. I mean, you also had I'm a Dog with PNB Rock. And I think Fuck Ugly God was like your second biggest song.
Something like that.
Yeah? I mean, when it's like I'm mentioning these songs to you, like, what's going through your head like when you're hearing them? Like what are some of your favorites or least favorites that I mentioned?
But it's not that. Like, I personally don't know my biggest songs, which is crazy because I don't even have any streaming platforms. All I have is SoundCloud, so I can only go off SoundCloud, which is super outdated, I feel like. But I do know what songs go crazier at shows and what songs I know that a lot of people know more than others. So that's how I know which songs are my biggest songs,
Like, what's the songs that people go the craziest over?
Fuck Ugly God. It's just some hype turned ass shit,
Yeah, I kind of like how you kind of diss yourself through the whole song.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it was. I had to do some different shit. I be trying to be on some different shit. You know that.
Yeah, man. I think you pulled it off. Like, conceptually, I'm like, okay, like he really went out and like found all the shit that people probably say about him and put them all together in one song and told it from a third person.
For sure.
Great job on that, man. Well, you also have a new album that's actually going to be out by the time this interview's out, which is Bumps and Bruises.
For sure.
Okay. And I looked through the track listing, and Takeoff seems to be like the only feature that I recognize. There's like 2 features.
Yeah.
It's Wintertime and Takeoff, but Takeoff's the only one that I know about.
Yeah.
So, number one, why only one feature? Well, 2 features, sorry, but one big feature.
Yeah. So, really, like, regardless of the big names and regardless of the people that I could potentially have worked with or could have worked with, done songs with, like, I want to make songs that fit my vision of what I wanted my album to sound like. And, like, it's just like that shit meshed well. He did his thing and then I used it, And then for the most part, I'm always grounded making songs by myself anyway. Like, I am open to do songs with other people, but for the most part, it's like I try to make sure like everything is like my shit.
Okay. I mean, why is this album called Bumps and Bruises?
It's just Bumps and Bruises. I feel like everybody has their own bumps and bruises. Everybody goes through shit. And there's not one specific definition of the album, but I feel like it's just like the definition is what you make it.
And I'm looking at the cover right now, so it's kind of like a kid sort of drew this, this picture. And I assume that's you with your back turned?
Yeah.
With a little lizard on your shoulder?
For sure.
And then it's like a little chart, a little flow chart that says introspection. And on one side is change behavior and adapt. On the other side is no change behavior, no behavior change, not adapt, and then stress.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like you stay on the same shit. You never mature, you never grow. that shit is like becomes stressful and that shit is just affects you negatively and you never grow from it. But whenever you do change, not all the way change, but really more adapt. That's why I didn't put change, it's more adapting, and then that shit comes out, positive. And then,
Okay, because you talked about in the past year you were going through some depression and
for
so
sure.
forth. Okay, and you also talked about how depression and mental illness has sort of become a catchphrase and something that everyone sort of likes to use.
Yeah, so yeah.
So
So it's got kind of corny. So when I was going through shit, which is super personal, but when I was going through shit, it was around the same time niggas becoming depressed and like fucking just being fake depression shit. Like that shit is actually like an aesthetic and like a wave now for a nigga to not even be depressed and then they acting fucking depressed and shit all on Instagram and shit when they're really not. So like that was actually super stressful for me to actually be depressed and shit and then just seeing a whole bunch of kids doing that shit just on some hype shit. That shit like was corny. Is corny.